They are the parents. Parenting does not mean just guiding the children on the general values, but they must instill in them our the bhakti or the dedication to our land, to our Madhur Bhumi, our precious Bharat.
The kind of help parents can give requires mindfulness in the sense of being attentive to the child, understanding the child, and being responsive to the child's needs, because ultimately the child's happiness should be all that matters to us as parents.
Spacecraft came out of the womb of the rocket, and I felt always like that. The mother takes it to the space, it delivers it there for a greater journey beyond that point. I think that symbolizes the roles of a parent and the journey of a child.
If we need to make quantum leaps in social progress, we need to invest in the youngest of children.
To be a mindful parent or to walk the path of mindful parenting, I think we as parents need to regulate our emotions. We need to be very strong. We need to be like a role model for the children, because they keep looking at us, they keep watching us, they keep picking up a word or thought of what we express.
Mindful parenting is the effort to bring awareness, attention, and curiosity to your interactions with your children.
There's a beautiful saying that it takes a village to raise a child. We think it takes a special village to raise a special needs child.
It's a beautiful initiative, mindful parenting. I think it's such a need of an hour because there's so much of confusion. There's so much of content. There are certain cultures that try to impress upon us, put parents into a box, put children into a box, that you should co-sleep for this amount of years, you should do this, you should do that, failing to understand the individuality of a child, the uniqueness of a child, that every child is different, every child may need, different emotions from a parent at a particular time. And
in mindful parenting or conscious parenting, it's very important that the minute we start treating children as equal to parents and we stop believing that we need to fix somebody, it makes a world of a difference, because then you're giving them equal respect and equal love.
Jai Dhari Ma, I greet you very warmly. Om Shanti, sister. Om Shanti. So much gratitude that you've joined us today. Good evening, sir. Rahul, welcome. हमारी audience का स्वागत है. We'll just wait for ma'am's camera to come on. जी.
I'm back.
जी, very good evening. Parenting के कुछ aspects are definitely in our hands. कुछ aspects शायद नहीं है. जो भी parenting के aspects आपके हाथ में है, the choices you are making, who you are, उन पर ध्यान लगाते हैं. We will take a lot of guidance from sister today and have a beautiful discussion about parenting. जी, मामी आप बोलेंगे कुछ?
Sister Shivani, Om Shanti.
Om Shanti.
We are as a team very concerned about, as a team, it started with the authorship of a book, Mindful Parenting, by Dr. Ajay Kumar, as you see him on the screen with us. He lives in Abu Dhabi and is a very good parent himself. तो ऐसे उन्होंने बुक लिखी और ऐसे ही शुरू हुआ कि क्यों नहीं माइंडफुल पेरेंटिंग में हम program regularly करें, because this was a concern. That's how this group came together on demonstrative learning. And every month, twice a month, we try and get the right kind of seed set, right kind of gardeners, spiritual gardeners like you, who would come and sow the seeds for parents. How do we bring up our children rightly in the current challenging situations? In our time, we had parents who had the time for us. We had mothers and fathers, energy and time, maybe not so many resources, but they had the time. But now we notice parents have abundant of resources, but do not have time. Neither the mother nor the father, by and large, or one parent, particularly the mother, also when she goes out, she's now working outside because now things have changed. The compulsions of society are now also making mothers move out of homes and not be there. And then single families. There are no joint families now where grandparents are there, where they were during our time. So things have dramatically changed. People are yearning actually to hear from very good spiritual masters and leaders like you, inspirers like you. Tell us, give the direction to the listeners today, parents listening, students listening. A lot of people are listening to you today, sister. How do they go about in these challenging circumstances?
Om Shanti. Like you shared, as the time changes, so also the requirements. The definition of parenting has changed. We need to see what is the need of the hour and add that as our priority in parenting. Yes, we are busy, we don't have time, but it's not the lack of time which is affecting the parenting. It is the vibrational energy of the parents which is affecting the child. So it is parenting of the body, which means nurturing the physical body and also nourishing the soul. And so the soul means the thoughts, the feelings, the emotions, the intentions. The body means the home we stay, everything we use, the education, everything that is related to the body. So this is the physical needs which are visible to this eye, and a parent takes care of all those physical needs. All those physical needs, most of them can be bought with money. पैसे से सारी चीजें खरीदी जा सकती हैं. And because now both the parents are working, so we have more money than we had when we were children. And so it's easy to buy everything that a child needs. And if you see in the last 20, 30 years or 2-3 decades, children are intelligent, they're well informed, they probably sometimes know more than the parents and the teachers because everything is available on the click of the button. But what has happened in the last 2 decades is that student life, that school life, which was supposed to be the carefree life, the happy life, started saying stress is normal. Adults saying stress is normal was okay, even though that was not okay, but we said, okay, they are saying stress is normal, but it is the children who started saying stress is normal. And even then, the parents did not pause probably to see what can be done about it, because the parents themselves had created a civilization, a generation which was saying stress is normal. Some of them were saying stress is necessary. If I don't have, obviously, if they believed stress is necessary, stress is normal, they didn't think there was anything wrong if their child was saying that the child is experiencing stress. But that was like 100 fever. You know, the fever had started, but it was just 9900, and we called it normal. And when we reached 2020, 21, we were not talking stress. We started saying, I'm feeling depressed. You know, not an illness, but at least an emotion. And then come to post-COVID, things just changed rapidly. And now, post COVID, we meet so many school children, not even college or university students, but school children post COVID saying, I'm feeling something over here, मुझे ना डर लग रहा है, मुझे anxiety हो रही है, and little children also, and I'm feeling depressed, तो ये बहुत common हो गया. And then it doesn't stay at I am feeling depressed, it is now depression as an illness. So this is where the graph went. And last month, there was a research which was published in the leading newspapers. It's a global research. And that global research said that post COVID, the Gen Z population, which is age group of, I think, 11 or 12 to 26, that age group population global, this is not Bharat, but global, and they said 42% children between 11 to 26 are experiencing symptoms of mental health issues, which means symptoms of depression, symptoms of anxiety, panic attack, and attention seeking disorder. The day I read it, I actually thought this cannot be true. It cannot be 42% of the children, because then we're talking like half the population of the children on the planet. And then I went online and then I verified. I said, which is the source of this research? So I really thought that could it be true? But it is true, is what they are saying. But then I started talking more to children. And I realized, yes, they were talking of depression as a very normal thing around them. And now, if we just go back 30 years back when we were in school, we didn't have anybody around us who was talking about depression. So, depression was something which happened rarest of rarest to someone in the elderly. So, what changed in these 20, 30 years? How is it that the student life, best life, is saying, I'm feeling depressed, and many are saying depression? Yesterday, I was in a program which had all young mothers in Delhi city, and they were all young mothers in the age group of 30 to 40. And just before the program, I said, what should we talk about today? And they said mental health. And I was like, why should we talk about mental health? You'll all seem fine. So, because depression, you can see it on people's faces. They were, "आप लोग सब ठीक ठाक लग रहे हो. Why do we need to talk about mental health?" And then one of them softly said, she said, no, but many of our children are going through it. So this is a wake up call. I mean, now if we don't pause and do something about it, probably in the next couple of years, it won't take a decade anymore. Now it will be just a couple of years, and we might be walking around saying depression is normal. So now that, for me personally, now that is the most important part of parenting now, to focus on this. How am I going to take care, and what am I going to do in terms of my nourishment of the child, so that my child never touches a mental health issue? And for that, they have to take care of the emotional health of the child. But how do we take care of the emotional health of the child? It's simple. Take care of your own emotional health. If a parent is going to surround that child with vibrations of stress, anger, worry, anxiety, fear, comparison, competition, peer pressure, jealousy, complaining, if that's the energy of the house, if that's the vibration that is in the aura of the parent, then that's the vibration the child absorbs. So it is like the food we eat nourishes the body, the vibrations that a child consumes nourishes the soul. And when does this parenting start? It starts when the soul is in the womb of the mother. So जो सबसे powerful time होता है संस्कार देने का, that is in the गर्भ, and that is called गर्भ संस्कार. Womb psychology is what they call it in the West, birth psychology, womb psychology. But in Bharat, the word is गर्भ संस्कार. कि सबसे powerful संस्कार गर्भ में दिए जाते हैं. When we were in the womb of our mothers, they were taught कि अच्छा अभी आपको अच्छी अच्छी चीजें पढ़नी है, अच्छी अच्छी चीजें देखनी है, आप देवी देवताओं की फोटो सामने रखो, वो देखो, आपके घर ऐसा बच्चा आएगा. They were taught that. What are the mothers of today doing during those 9 months? What are they watching? What are they reading? What are they listening? What are they eating? What are they drinking? And most important, what are they thinking? What are they feeling? What are they speaking? What is their vocabulary? And how are they behaving? So the parenting has to be taken care in those 9 months first. So, like when we were kids, we used to hear that children were born weak. And so they used to say, oh, the mother did not take care during those 9 months. Child is born weak. That was weak physically. Now, I think the child is born emotionally weak. And that's why we start seeing that attention seeking problem, that hyperactivity in very young kids, 1 year old, 2 year old. बैठते नहीं है एक जगह पर, उठक बैठक भागते जाते हैं, and then we say hyperactivity, ADHD, ये इतना ज़्यादा बढ़ रहा है. And then people are saying, why are the children of today so hyper? Well, it's not the children of today which are hyper. It is the parent of today who is hyper. And if a parent is hyper, you can't expect a hyper parent to have a calm, stable, peaceful child. That'll have to be the rarest of rare, of a soul who's carrying that sanskar of peace and stability from the past life and not getting influenced by the present environment. That will be a very small figure. So hyper parents will have hyper children just because they're radiating that vibration right from the womb. And then, of course, as the child is growing up. So, mindful parenting only for me means that the parent starts need to practice mindfulness, which means meditation, stability, calm, consume right content, work on your mind. Don't say, I don't have time to take care of myself, because it's like on the flight. If there is a turbulence, the oxygen mask falls down, put it onto yourself first. Even if your child is sitting next to you, you have to put it onto yourself first. That is a principle of care. If I have to take care of the other person, I have to first practice self care. So, unless the parent starts working on their stress, their anxiety, stops calling it normal, starts taking out time to strengthen their mind, I don't think it's possible to strengthen your child's mind without strengthening your mind. आप अपने बच्चे को खाना खिला सकते हो बिना खुद खाना खाए. आप अपने बच्चे को बेस्ट यूनिवर्सिटी में भेज सकते हो बिना खुद पढ़े. आप अपने बच्चे को सब खरीद के दे सकते हो बिना अपने लिए खरीदे. लेकिन आप अपने बच्चे को मन की शक्ति नहीं दे सकते बिना वो खुद अपने लिए क्रिएट किए, बिकॉज दैट्स द ओनली प्रॉबेबली वन थिंग जो आप जाके खरीद के लाके नहीं दे सकते हो. सो इसमें पेरेंटिंग सबसे पहले अपने मन की करनी पड़ेगी. अपनी मन की पेरेंटिंग करेंगे तो बच्चों की वो वाली इमोशनल साइड ऑफ द पेरेंटिंग तो अपने आप से बहुत अच्छी अपने आप हो जाएगी. आई सी प्रैक्टिकली एट द सेंटर दैट व्हेन even one out of the two parents comes to the center and is there over a period of time and starts practicing daily meditation and creates a change in themselves, the first result that we see is the change in the children. First result, मेरा बच्चा काम हो गया, मेरा बच्चे की concentration बढ़ गई है, मेरा बच्चे का क्यों हुआ? Because that bond, that emotional connect is so strong कि एक के अंदर change आया तो दूसरे के अंदर change आना शुरू हो जाता है, and also because the energy and the vibrations of the house change. So we've all got big houses, we've all got very nicely decorated, designed houses. The need of the hour, high vibrational houses, so that we can have children nourished with that vibration and we have emotionally, mentally strong children who are going to be our leaders of Bharat tomorrow. So that's where mindfulness is right now.
Sister, we are going to spend the next half an hour asking you all our innocent questions that are coming to our mind. Sister, जो आपने बोला है is so true. But I want to ask you something. Is English में कहते हैं कि these are various roles we play. Is parenting a role we play or is it our life? Is it a role? And कईयों के पास टाइम है, कईयों के पास टाइम नहीं है, लेकिन वो बोलते हैं आई एम अ मदर and or are you the mother? I'm a father and or I'm just a mother at home or I'm just a father at home. I don't understand the word just, and I don't understand the word role when it comes to being a parent, because you're not playing a role. Is it your life or is it just one role and I have many others to play? Because जो हम खुद हैं उसका सबसे ज्यादा असर हमारे बच्चे पे पड़ रहा है, किसी और रोल पे नहीं पड़ रहा, अगर उसको रोल भी बुलाना है तो। वो अपनी अपने जीवन जी रहे हैं, लेकिन आप जो खुद कर रहे हैं, या आपके बच्चे की जिंदगी बन जाएगी या बिगड़ जाएगी। टू बी, व्हाट इज इट टू बी अ पेरेंट? जी।
See, we have to remember who is the parent. The soul in that costume is the parent. Okay? Parent is not a role, but parent is also not a body. So I cannot say this 30-year-old person is a parent. That 30-year-old is just the age of the body. इस body के अंदर वो जो आत्मा बैठी है, that's the parent. Now, what is the original nature of every soul is actually to give love, to give happiness, to radiate power, to do things for the other person, to accept unconditionally, to tolerate, to forgive, to let go. This is original nature of every soul. But if I do not take care of myself, and if I get tired and I get fatigued and I'm becoming, let's say, spiritual power weakens. So if physically, let's say you are a parent, but if you're physically weak, okay, you may want to do a lot for your child, but you will not be able to do all the best that you can do because you are physically unfit, right? तो आप जितना उसके साथ भाग सकते हैं, जितना उसके साथ कर सकते हैं, जितना उसके साथ पहाड़ चढ़ सकते हैं, आप नहीं कर सकेंगे, simply because you're physically weak. अब ये दिखाई देता है because physical weakness इन आंखों से दिखाई देती है. Similarly, if soul power is weak, then I'm emotionally weak. Then I may want to give, but where do I have it to give? ताकत कहाँ है वो मेरे पास? So then, जब suppose you're physically weak, तो हर काम एक थोड़ा सा बोझ लगता है. अभी मुझे उठना है, ये करना है, अभी मुझे बच्चे के लिए खाना बनाना है, because मेरे पास ताकत नहीं है ना, I'm not well physically. इसी तरह जब emotional ताकत नहीं होती है, that same thing which probably came very natural to a parent 20 years back, that's looking like a struggle because वो मेरे पास ताकत नहीं है. So then it is like, अच्छा मुझे ये भी करना है और मुझे ये भी देना है. So that is only because here I am not healthy. I am not healthy. And when I'm not, I have met parents sitting outside a gynae and waiting for the OPD turn and saying like, and I've seen them saying to the doctor, okay, doctor, abhi to, because they're not allowed to have coffee and not, they're told not to have coffee or of course not to touch any other substance and alcohol during those 9 months. And I've actually seen people saying, but doctor, कल तो न्यू ईयर है ना, न्यू ईयर पे भी नहीं लेना है. So उनको वो कितना बड़ा sacrifice feel हो रहा है. So even if you feel that it is a sacrifice, you're not radiating the right energy for the child. But वो sacrifice क्यों feel हो रहा है? Because that soul is not experiencing happiness, and so that soul's happiness is dependent on that substance, on that new year party, on those friends, because they're seeking from happiness outside. तो उनको लग रहा है मेरी वो वाली खुशी भी चली गई, because now I have to do this for my child. So when I don't have the strength, natural things which appear natural to others will not come easy to me. And जैसे ही हम अपने आप को strengthen कर लेंगे, and we are happy, we are contented, when we are not seeking anything outside, then giving comes natural to us. So whether that is giving as a parent, or it's giving in any relationship. I'm meeting couples nowadays who are deciding not to live with each other. 5-10 years back, they would come with the concrete reason, भाई ये reason है, हमें इकट्ठे नहीं रहना है. You know what they say now? I'm not getting anything in this relationship, so why should I be with them? मुझे कुछ नहीं मिल रहा है. So we have become like this in relationship rather than a giver. तो जब ऐसे हो जाएगा, तो simple चीजें मुश्किल तो लगेगी. So that vocabulary doesn't surprise us at all. Just last week, I met a mother, 2 little daughters, and she was talking about separation. मतलब वो बहुत छोटे हैं, 2 साल and 4 साल. And I just said, अरे अपना दोनों का नहीं सोचना तो बच्चों का ही सोच लो. And earlier, if you would have said this to people, na, they would have like, हाँ बच्चों का तो सोचना है, बच्चों के लिए कर लेंगे. And she just turned back and she said, so are you trying to tell me that I should sacrifice my life for both of them? It was like that because ताकत नहीं है. ताकत नहीं है. So we are hearing this vocabulary shift it's come very normal for them. Either it is the content that they are consuming, which is changing vocabulary and making them hollow there. They have started learning that life is like this. We've grown up understanding life is like this. तो वो जब एक belief system ही wrong हो जाएगा तो कुछ भी fit नहीं होता फिर उसके अंदर.
Sister, there are many these days there are many irretrievable marriages where there's irretrievability. There is no harmony. There is no respect. There's even violence. And what do the children do with it? Now, the point is, they go to residential schools then. So, how do you see the residential schools playing a role of a parent and a teacher? You must have come across this. There's a big concept of residential schools, both from the NRIs and from even Indians, where their children feel हमारे बस का नहीं है बच्चों को पालना, तो residential school में भेज दो. I've seen many schools. Can you talk to us about parenting and residential schools, because that's a new essentiality almost becoming.
Yes, but the intention with which the child has been sent to the residential school is the one which needs to be underlined. Children
Right.
would go to boarding schools earlier also, but sometimes it was because the place where the parent was living didn't have the best of education facility, and they would say, "बच्चे के अच्छे के लिए हम उसको hostel भेज रहे हैं." You see the intention behind what we are
Perfect.
doing, and
Perfect.
now they're saying we are not able to manage. ये बहुत difficult है हमारे लिए, इसलिए हम भेज रहे हैं. So that energy is going to change the dynamics of the relationship. So it's
Wow.
not about the school or about, but what energy. It's like आप वो responsibility लेने के लिए you don't want to. So then it's not that's a vibration of rejection. No, actually, in a very subtle manner, if that's the reason, then that's a vibration of rejection. Earlier it was, I don't have the money, but I'll still work hard, I'll earn and I'll do this for you because I want कि आप कुछ बहुत अच्छा बन जाओ. So that was a vibration of giving. Now this is an opposite vibration. So it is that intention vibration which will make a difference.
Very well said. Thank you. The children need to know before they go to residential schools, why are their parents sending them? If they send it for this with this purpose that I want you to do, as you rightly said, I think the child will then value the residential school much more. And not that मुझे
And also
भेज
that
दिया
will be
गया.
the vibration of the वो vibration भी तो बच्चे को मिलेगी ना, even if they don't say it to the child, but what's on the parents' mind वो तो पहुंच ही जाता है ना. And children somehow are able to see, children are able to sense it very fast what is happening. We meet couples who say, who are going through issues between the two of them, and we say, oh हम बच्चों के सामने नहीं झगड़ा करते. But आपको बच्चों के सामने झगड़ा करने की जरूरत नहीं है. आप planet पर कहीं भी झगड़ा कर लो. Your vibrations are what are getting absorbed by the child. But because we don't talk about this, we don't learn this, so we don't even look at that dimension. We just said unke samne we have to be a role model. It is not from here that unke samne we have to be a role model. It is just who I am, whether here or where they cannot see me, I carry that energy and that vibration, and that is being absorbed by my child. So it's not about whether they see me or don't see me, hear me or don't hear me. That is my connect with the child.
Sister, what would be your message for residential schools? Anything specific for them? Because they're also becoming parents.
Again, whether it's residential schools or even the normal schools, because a child spends so much of time in the school, so the educators of every school, again, along with teaching, along with self-discipline, the vibration of the educator is very important. So if an educator starts working on their emotional health and is calm, stable, always happy, minimal irritation, anger, then she has the power or he has the power to empower the child. So, the power to empower is coming from here. So, whether it's parents, whether it's educators, actually the entire society, because we are who are creating that energy. It's like we live in Delhi, so the air pollution. Somebody else may be creating it, but everybody is getting affected by it. Similarly, who's creating the vibration of the city, and the children living in that city are getting affected. So even when we change cities and we go to other cities, we see a significant difference in the child of another city. तो वो भी बहुत फर्क है, because हम किस हवा में पल रहे हैं, किस हवा में बड़े हो रहे हैं. That makes so much of a difference. And why we need to take care of emotional and mental health, we've seen this year, right? That so many children, they chose not to live. I mean, imagine to reach that decision. They chose not to live. And all that they could do was write a letter for their parents. So this is a wake-up call. I mean, we have to do something about it. Otherwise, शायद वो हमारे हाथ से ये बात निकल जाएगी फिर बाहर.
सिस्टर, आपने टीचिंग की बात करी. बच्चों में ये भी बात चलती है कि आज मैम का और सर का मूड देखकर बात करेंगे. So they are also coming with their own baggage. सिस्टर, मैं आपसे ये पूछना चाह रही थी, आपने गर्भ संस्कार की बात करी. जब एक कपल, अगर 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 वो कपल माइंडफुली अवेयरनेस के साथ डिसाइड कर रहा है टू स्टार्ट अ फैमिली, टू हैव अ चाइल्ड, कितना जरूरी है टू अंडरस्टैंड द एंसेस्ट्रल हिस्ट्री. ये मेरे मन में आया, कितना जरूरी है टू अंडरस्टैंड द फैमिली पैटर्न्स, द कार्मिक पैटर्न्स. कितना जरूरी है टू रिफ्लेक्ट कि how has our family setup been so far? What is our support system like? Because वो 9 महीने तो सब बड़े अच्छे होते हैं, and then there's a baby shower, but उसके बाद क्या होता है? I don't understand that. So how important is it for a couple also to understand the ancestral history and the patterns?
See, both that means the husband and the wife are coming from different backgrounds, right? So दोनों की parenting भी different हुई होगी, because today we also see a lot of conflict is because of the childhood of that parent. कि उनका childhood कैसा बीता था. If either of them is carrying any kind of childhood trauma, then we need to remember that the trauma is not of the body, the trauma is of the soul. So that 3-year-old boy or that 3-year-old girl would be 30-year-old body today, but the soul is still carrying that emotional trauma. And that emotional trauma is there as a part of their personality. But again, because that's something we don't address, so we say, ये हाँ ये हुआ था तो हुआ था. But वो जो हुआ था, that is still there in your personality in the form of insecurity, in the form of lack of feeling loved, feeling rejected, because somewhere you felt that rejection from your parent, even though your parent was not rejecting you, but you felt some rejection or you felt some sibling rivalry. Parents were equal with both, but आपका अपना, because we have to remember that child is a soul who enters the womb of the mother, but that soul is coming from past life sanskars and karma. So there are 5 types of sanskars that each one of us carries. One is past life sanskar and karma, which is a very big set of sanskars. Second is parental sanskars, which means family. It's not just parents, but family sanskars. Third is environmental sanskars. Which country, which city, which school, which friends, and nowadays mobile content. That is also environment. जिसको हम कहते हैं संग का रंग. संग का रंग affects my sanskars. Fourth is willpower. Doesn't matter which ones I'm carrying in the first 3 set, I have my willpower to be able to change any sanskar. And most important set of sanskar is the 5th set of sanskar, which is the original sanskar of every soul. And that is purity, peace, love, happiness, power, wisdom, and bliss. Shanti, Shakti, Pyar, Sukh, Anand, Gyan, Pavitrata, Satoguni Atma. Satoguni Atma means every soul carries 7 sanskars. But then all of us have past life sanskars, parental sanskars, environmental sanskars, willpower, and original sanskars. So parenting means emerging those 7 sanskars as normal and thereby radiating the vibration to your child and allowing the child to be able to emerge those 7 sanskars. Rather than teaching the child कि कल आपकी एडमिशन है तो स्ट्रेस तो होगा ही, कल आपका एग्जाम है तो स्ट्रेस तो होता ही है, because that is my normal, so that is what I will teach the child, which is at normal. And then suppose the child is coming with their mark sheet, then the parent is saying, अच्छा आपके इतने नंबर आए, क्लास में बाकी सबके कितने आए, which is an irrelevant question, but that's where we are sowing the seed. Okay, your performance is not your performance. Your performance is in reference to other people's performance. So that's where his comparison is coming in, competition coming in. But then that is how I was brought up, probably. So both are coming with their own individual personalities. But then that is all about relationships. It's all about our sanskars, your sanskar, my sanskar, how we are going to adjust with each other. But important is we are not coming with those perfect 7. We all have these few emotional weaknesses. But put it as a part of your life to clean those stains and energize yourself. Child will become strong in the process on their own. You won't have to do anything much with that, but make it part of your life. That is what is very important. Every parent today needs to practice content restriction. Unless a parent practices content restriction, they will not be able to empower their child to be able to do it. अगर घरों में वो binge watching हो रही है, series चल रही है, those words are radiating in that house, that becomes the belief system of the family. It's like, हम घर में बड़े हो रहे हैं तो हवन चल रहे हैं, पूजा चल रही है, पाठ चल रहा है, तो then that is the vibration of the house. अब वो टीवी चल रहा है और ये ऐसे वाली सीरीज चल रही है. I mean, the kind of content that is there was probably content which you were not even allowed to watch till the age of 18 when we were in school. And आज वो घरों में चल रहा है. So what is going to be absorbed by that child? That is the nutritional, vibrational, emotional energy the child is absorbing, because the child is growing up in that house where those scenes are being played, those words are being said. It's in the energy. बच्चे को कुछ करना ही नहीं है. बच्चा तो वो अपने आप absorb करता जा रहा है. तो आप क्या करेंगे उसके लिए? There is so much content full of lust in the house that children are losing their purity at a very young age. जो इनोसेंस एक स्कूल के बच्चे में दिखाई देनी चाहिए, वो इनोसेंस आज दिखाई नहीं देती है. इट्स ऑल टू डू विद कंटेंट. It's content, because there's so much content full of lust, abuse all in the house. तो क्या करेंगे आप? इसका इम्पैक्ट इट्स लाइक पहले हम बोला करते थे कि पेरेंट, इफ द पेरेंट इज ड्रिंकिंग ना, उसका असर बच्चे पर पड़ेगा. इफ द पेरेंट इज स्मोकिंग, उसका असर बच्चे पर पड़ेगा. सिस्टर से पेरेंट्स को ये नहीं करना चाहिए, बच्चों की आदत बन जाती है. बट तब ये 2-3 चीजें ही होती थी. नाउ इट इज दिस कंटेंट. So content right from the time the child is in the womb to while the child is growing up. Things which we were never allowed to see till we were 20 years old, that child is consuming when they are 1 or 2 years old in that house. So kya karenge? What do you do? So there's only one way. The parent will have to practice content restriction. They cannot call this normal. But then they feel left out. हम पार्टी में जाएंगे तो सब लोग बोलेंगे आपने वो सीरीज देखी नहीं, तो हमें देखनी है. सब लोग देख रहे हैं तो हमें देखनी है. That's all gone into a vicious cycle. So जब तक हम इमोशनल न्यूट्रिशन पे काम नहीं करेंगे, हम मेंटल हेल्थ को स्ट्रॉन्ग नहीं बना सकेंगे. सो इट इज दैट इमोशनल पहले हम बोलते थे आयरन की कमी है और कैल्शियम की कमी है. अभी दैट इज टेकन केयर ऑफ. द फिजिकल नीड्स आर टेकन केयर ऑफ, एटलीस्ट इन अर्बन इंडिया. बट इट इज this nutrition which is now getting affected.
So beautiful. Ajay, you got anything to ask?
Yeah, actually, first of all, thank you, Sister Shivani, for accepting our invitation. In today's fast-paced world, many young people find themselves navigating between spirituality and bhakti, often leading to confusion. While spirituality is about inner growth, understanding oneself, and connecting with the divine within, bhakti is more focused on devotion and worship. However, this lack of clarity often leads to misconceptions and superstitions. In a society where superstition still holds sway, especially among the youth, it is crucial to provide guidance on distinguishing between spirituality and
we lost
connectivity.
Can you speak again? Spirituality and?
Yeah, how can we help the younger generation understand these differences and embrace spirituality without falling into the trap of superstition?
See, bhakti is not superstition, right? Superstition is a
Yes.
completely different thing. Bhakti is very divine, very selfless. It's only that the parent has to teach the child the devotion, the method, and what today's children need is a little reasoning. So that's a different generation. So like when we were growing up, agar hame bola jata tha ye karo, so we would do it because we would say mummy papa ne bola hai, so we will do it. But today's children will ask, why do we have to do it? What is the reason behind it? Which is good. So all that it needs is for the parent to study it a little more, that the ritual that we are practicing, there is always a reason behind that ritual. There is a lot of deeper scientific meaning why that ritual is being practiced. But if some of the parents, if they just tell their child to do it without giving the explanation, then the child gets put off and says, this is all blind faith, this is all superstition, I'm not doing it. It's not superstition. It's only that some of us didn't go into studying the reason behind it because we trusted the one who was teaching us and we said, no, there is a reason why we are doing this. Even a simple thing like diya jalao. तो दिया जलाओ, हमें बोला दिया जलाओ तो हमने दिया जला दिया. अब बच्चा पूछेगा दिया क्यों जलाना है? So we should be able to explain to the child दिया क्यों जलाना है. So bhakti, it just all depends on what's the preference of the family and what is the culture of the family. Important is that whatever culture we have grown up with and which we know is empowering us, I just need to know whether my method, whether it is bhakti, whether it is devotion, whether it is spirituality, I just need to see whether the result is right, which means it is building up soul power. Some people can meditate 15 minutes every morning without fail, but during the day they don't take care, so they're equally reactive throughout the day. So then they have not translated their meditation into their practical life, तो उसका बहुत ज़्यादा कोई result मिलने वाला नहीं है. So it's not that this is better than the other. It just depends, are you taking what you are learning and then implementing it into your practical life, because your child wants to see that it works. So the children, because they're so well informed and they look at everything very logically, scientifically, which is very good, they only need to see the result of the practice that I'm doing, whether it is a bhakti practice, whether it is a spirituality practice. When they don't see any result and they don't get any reasoning behind it, then they will say this is all superstition and they will leave it. But uske hua kya? They have stopped, many of them have stopped those daily religious practices, that daily bhakti rituals at home, or whatever was in the house. Because again, I meet parents. I said, आपके बच्चे नहीं आए आपके साथ मंदिर? नहीं, वो तो उनकी choice है ना, उनको आना है या नहीं आना. हम उनको force तो नहीं कर सकते. So now that's what we have created. कि हम उनको force नहीं कर सकते हैं मंदिर आने के लिए. So now content which is of a lower vibrational, that is increasing, and that divine content which we had, that they are saying that we cannot force them to get. So it is like saying toxic junk food has increased, healthy food we are not being able to give them, तो फिर result और ज़्यादा बढ़ जाएगा उसकी वजह से. So अगर हर घर में कुछ मिनट भी सुबह या रात को आप इकट्ठे कुछ स्टडी करो, इकट्ठे मेडिटेट करो, इकट्ठे योगा करो. It should be like everyone doing it together. कि get up in the morning, इकट्ठे योगा करो. That बच्चा will be doing it right from the age of 2 or 3. इकट्ठे हम 5 minutes pray करेंगे. बच्चा will be doing it at that age. But the child should also see the result of that self-care practice in the temperament, emotional health, and the behavior of the parent.
Thank you.
जी
Rahul, you got a question to ask, Rahul?
Yes,
जी,
yes.
राहुल
Pranam
जी,
Shivani ji.
जी.
I know I have heard you for very long. It's a privilege, and I thank Kiran Bedi ma'am, Sena ji, and Dr. Ajay Kumar to have a word with you, because I was even telling my family I've listened to you for very long, I mean years and years altogether. Thank
Yeah,
you
we
for
all
that.
listen to her on a regular basis. Regular.
Yes. Yeah, and I used to see the early morning program when I was much younger. So it's a great privilege, and I have learned a lot from Dr. Ajay Kumar and his book. But I want to ask you a spiritual question. See, whoever who comes as children, the God or cosmos gifts as children, according to a philosophy, is there any past life connection or is there any spiritual connection? Now, how do you explain it?
Spiritually, we understand that we are souls on a journey, and in every lifetime, that is in every costume, I'm interacting with other souls and I have karmic connections. And then when I die, I, the soul, will leave this body And then the birth, where am I going to take birth? Who are going to be my parents? And then who's going to be my next set of soul connections? They are souls whom I have met before. So a parent-child connection is a very, very strong karmic account. So they are definitely souls who have met before, but nobody's going to remember that they have met before. They never remember what we have met before. But the last time what karmic connection we created, that's what carries forward into this relationship, and that starts the quality of our karmic account. But it doesn't matter what quality past karmic account I have come with, uh, because sometimes we see a lot of struggle in a parent child relationship. There's a lot of struggle, मतलब आपस में बनती नहीं है, पता नहीं बात बात पे झगड़ा ही करते रहते हैं. So that struggle is definitely sometimes a past carry forward. But even any one of them will change their way of thinking with their taking care of their mind, energizing it spiritually and with meditation, and they will change their present karma. तो वो karmic account change हो जाएगा. वो तो karmic account change हो जाएगा. But one of them will have to do it. So the relationship is not between the body of the parent and the child, but it's that soul and soul which is there in two of them. So same parent, two children, relationship will be different. So that parent's relationship with one child and the parent's relationship with the other child is different. Not just when they're growing up, but even after the children are adults, you see a very different dynamics between two children and the same set of parents. So कुछ parents से एक बच्चे को बहुत ज़्यादा डर लगता है, कुछ parents से बच्चे को बिल्कुल डर नहीं लगता है. And we say, but it's the same parent, but two children will be having a different karmic account with that parent. कुछ एक बच्चा बहुत सेवा करता है, कोई बच्चा बिल्कुल ध्यान नहीं रखता. Same parent, same parenting, same sanskar, same everything, but different karmic account. So karmic account to hai. There's one more thing. Sorry.
Carry on.
There is one thing which I feel is needed nowadays in parenting, especially in families where there's a lot that money can buy. So usse kya hua hai? The ability for a child to listen to a no is reducing, because the child is getting everything very easily. Like if you remember when we were growing up, there was a lot of no's we had to listen to. ये अभी नहीं मिलेगा, ये एक साल के बाद मिलेगा, ये दिवाली पे मिलेगा, ये अभी हमारे घर में नहीं आ सकता, हमारे, because we had limited resources. Because now there's so much money and everything is coming at the click of a button. And also a lot of parents are trying to compensate for their lack of time by giving in to the demands of the children, because they carry that guilt. And so they say, चलो हम time नहीं दे सकते, कम से कम बच्चा जो मांग रहा है वो दे देना चाहिए. So what happens is till the age of about 10, 12, 15, the child is getting everything that the child is asking for. Even as simple as एक बच्चा कहता है मुझे ये नहीं खाना, मुझे ये खाना है. So if we had to say that to our mother, she would have said ये बना है, ये खाना है. This is it. Nobody asked you आपको क्या खाना है. That would be only once in a while. भाई आज आपको क्या खाना है. The other days, this is what is cooked. This is what you have to eat. अब ये हमें छोटी बात लगती है, but for a child, it is teaching me that I have to learn to accept and mold myself with what life gives to me. Like this. ये मुझे खाना मिला है. I don't like it, but I have to adjust with it. So for a child, it is building their ability to adjust and adapt to the situations, whether it's the food I eat as a kid, whether it is the clothes I get to wear. We were not taken to shopping malls and said, which one do you want? Choose that. No, हमें लाके दे दिया जाता था. You have to wear this. So I have to accept what life gave me. So it taught me that ability to accept. Now, what happens when you ask a 2-year-old child, आपको क्या खाना है? So the child gets to choose उसको क्या खाना है. So when I ask these young parents, why do you need to ask them? Just उनको दो ना क्या खाना है. They say, no. We want our child to learn how to choose. This is a very new culture that they have created. We have to teach our child to make choices. So in the process of allowing their child to only make choices and choices, they are not creating that sanskar of the child being able to face that scene which is not of their choice. Because after the age of 15, 20, everything that happens in the life of the child is not going to be as per their choice. But if that child has not had to face scenes which were not of their choice, how will the child suddenly face that scene at the age of 15 and 20? And that is why it comes as a very big rejection. So even a no in a relationship in school, or a little failure, or not getting admission where I wanted, is It used to happen before, it's happening now. But the impact it's having on a child now is much bigger because उन्होंने ना सुना नहीं है बहुत ज़्यादा. I get emails saying so and so said no to me, I don't want to live. मतलब कैसे लिखते हैं? Because उनके लिए वो no has come like how could somebody say no to me? And so when they said मुझे ये नहीं खाना है, मुझे ये कोर्स नहीं करना है, बस मेरा मन नहीं है इसलिए नहीं करना है. And now at the age of 25-30 they say मुझे इनके साथ नहीं रहना है. भाई क्यों नहीं रहना है? बस मुझे नहीं रहना है. So it is sounding like that same child who had said मुझे नहीं खाना है ना, मुझे इनके साथ नहीं रहना है. So that is that programming that is happening. So to say more no's is very important. To go back to being assertive and strict, not aggressive, but a little strict, and not compensate your time with the power of money, because that's only going to create emotional weakness, not strength.
Sister, are the parents of today also indulging? खुद को कितना indulge कर रहे हैं बच्चे के सामने? So
जो चीज है वही यूज करेंगे. पैसे हैं तो पैसे यूज करने पड़ेंगे. What do I do? जो मेरे पास है, that is only what I will use, right? So that's all that it is. So we just said, so if you tell people spend a little time with yourself, नहीं हमारे को time नहीं है because everything is about work and everything about work is about money. Simple. So anything that I pay attention on, I will get abundance of that. So we focused on that part of life. We are doing well. We've got everything at home. Now just focus 30 minutes on something else. You will get that also. But अगर आप बिल्कुल कहो कि I don't have time for that, then we are seeing the results of that. But then we just can't say it's only parent. I think it's a complete society together who will need to take care. You can't pinpoint on one specific parent because it's also the energy of a house. It's the energy of the school. It is the effect of other children on that child also. We are meeting children who they know their maryada, they know what is right, what is wrong, they know what's healthy, what's not. But now what is happening is the children who want to stand on the right, even as simple as not having my own social media account, not having an handle. Okay, so there are children who understand this is not healthy for me. I'm only in school, I'm only in 7th, 8th, 10th standard. But now the number is very small. So it's the other way around. So now the number is very small. So the ones who are on that right, which we believe is right, but they feel it's abnormal not to have a social media handle, वो अलग बात है. So the number is very small. So now this child is not enough to just stand on the right, but the sanskar which needs to go in every child is to have the power to stand on the right, even if you are the only one. That power is needed. तो उनको पता है क्या right है, but that other side is using all kind of vocabulary, making them feel left out. Somebody told me the other day, there is a word they say, you're cancelled. I say, you're cancelled means? मतलब you're cancelled, you're no good, ये तुम ठीक नहीं हो, तो you are cancelled. All picked up from some movies or serials and then using it with kids. तो एक बच्चे को आप स्कूल में बोल रहे हो, you're cancelled. तो that rejection कैसे handle करेगा वो बच्चा? So the sanskar which the child needs is not just to know what is right, then to implement what is healthy, but to have the power to stand alone, even if everybody is on the other side. अब वो power तो सिर्फ parent से ही आ सकती है. But if the parent is a victim of peer pressure, तो फिर बच्चा कैसे करेगा? So that power is needed today and will be needed even more in the coming times.
Sister, what role does astrology? Saina, can I ask? Sister, what role does astrology play? Do you see a role in astrology, or it's a different science? Do they match? Do they come together sometime? Astrologically, I've seen किस दिन हम बच्चा पैदा करें because it's a C-section. किस time पर they want to choose the time, they want to choose the date, and the sanskar and the. So, would you like to comment on this?
The astrology is the influence of the planets on the sanskar of the soul. The soul who has entered the womb of the mother has already come with their sanskars and their karma. Okay. Now, what does astrology teach us is what is going to happen in my life. That is what astrology will say. कि आपके 5 साल बाद ये होगा, 10 साल बाद ये होगा. So it is saying, it's like karma is the ball I throw. Destiny is the ball that comes to me. So if I throw a ball today, anybody with basic scientific calculation will be able to say this ball will come back at this speed in this direction. So that is astrology. What speed the ball is going to return to me, balls which I have thrown in a past lifetime. But which new ball you are going to throw now as per your karma, that will depend on the present lifetime. So past, yes, will come to me, but important is not what is coming to me in the past. Important is what karma I will throw in the present. So somebody can come with a perfect destiny, but the present they are messing up because they're not taking care. And somebody could come with a lot of challenges in their destiny. Maybe someone comes with a physically not perfect body, somebody comes with not a lot of resources at home, but they create miracles with their present karma and they will change their destiny. So but this whole thing of choosing the time of when the baby is born and all is all a little, don't play with natural things. Don't, should not play with nature. It will always have a consequence.
जी Ajay sir, आप कुछ कहेंगे? You would want to share your thoughts, and then Rahul ji would like to share his thoughts, and then we can ask more questions to sister.
Yeah, in parenting, mindfulness teaches children empathy and emotional intelligence, while spirituality instills moral values and integrity, as I understand. Together, they shape children into compassionate individuals, ensuring a brighter and more harmonious future. Thus, by integrating mindfulness and spirituality into parenting, we not only equip children with the tools for success, but also nurture them to become compassionate and empathetic individuals who drive for a brighter and more harmonious future. What's your thought, Sister Shivani?
When the individual is nourished, then compassion comes natural. Compassion means empathy, acceptance, radiating love and care, which means if I'm rich, giving will come normal to me. So if I'm rich in wealth, I'm able to give wealth and spend wealth on the children. If I'm rich here, then it'll come natural to me. But if I am innately fatigued, then acceptance doesn't come natural, expectation comes natural. If I am rich here, then forgiveness and letting go will come natural. But if I'm not rich here, then getting hurt and holding on to the past comes natural. If I'm rich here, then I live with self respect. If I'm not rich here, I will live out of comparison, jealousy, competition. So it's all that compassion, empathy, self-respect, they're all different words and emotions, but it's like if I'm physically weak, then breathlessness, low immunity, not being able to climb to this all comes natural. And if I suddenly start taking care of my physical health, 6 months later, I can climb 5 flights of stairs, I can go trekking, I can be in the middle of all virus and I can be fine. Everything happens only with just me building up my immunity system. So same thing here. So these emotions will come naturally for those parents and for the children also.
Sister, can I ask you a question? Sana, sister, what makes you who you are?
What makes me who I am?
Yes.
Who I am? No,
That's right. What
this
makes
is
you
only
who you
what
are?
I'm learning. This is what I'm learning every day. And the more we learn, the more we start being able to understand the intricacies of what are going on. Because it's like this is the field of study. How does the mind work? What is every thought? What's every intention behind that? What is the sanskar? So there's a lot of research going on here throughout the day. Throughout the day with my own thoughts, then when I see people respond, okay, what was their intention behind this? What were they going through? So it's like a subject. But it's of course coming only from all that spiritual study and meditation. That's what I feel. Half an hour daily, and it can be, you can learn to start mastering your mind.
How lovely.
Ji, Rahul ji, do you like to say something?
No, I know. I'm known to comment or say something in a stage where Shivani ji, Kiran Bedi ma'am, and Dr. Ajay Kumar is there. But I have one more humble doubt. Please correct. No, I have a 7-year-old son whose name is Yag, and I have a second child too. Sometimes, when my son doesn't listen to me, anger comes. अरे बच्चा सुन तो नहीं रहा है. This anger comes, of course, being parents and being seniors, we don't keep that grudge. But sometimes when the indiscipline happens, when they don't listen, even though we have all the love, we may have strains of anger or some kind of negative emotion inside us. So what is the best way to solve? Is it to talk it out, or is it to spiritually realize? How do we deal the negativity? They may be doing innocent actions, but that will create negativity inside our mind, because I'm going somewhere, he's not coming with me, I'm getting late for the office, he's the reason for it. He doesn't understand. So, and how do I deal, or any parent deal with the negativity that is innocently caused by the child? Should we talk it out, or is there any other mechanism?
No, even what you're saying, even if you're saying you have to come, let's say even if it's this much, you have to come, wo chhod do jo aap karo, you have to come. What you are saying is right. The emotion with that has to be right. So you can be very calm and very assertive. कि नहीं, you have no option, आपको आना ही पड़ेगा. आपको हमने कोई option दिया ही नहीं है कि आपको आना है या नहीं आना है. So it's like, it's like I always feel जब हम road पे होते हैं ना, and suppose we break the rule of the road, the traffic rule, there will be some traffic man who will just shout at you, that inspector, and there will be one who will just say प्यार से, आपने रेड सिग्नल तोड़ा है तो फाइन तो देना ही पड़ेगा आपको. वो अपना अपना इमोशन को खराब नहीं करता बिकॉज हमने रेड सिग्नल तोड़ा है. दैट्स हाउ वी नीड टू बी वेरी स्ट्रिक्ट, have that disciplinary action, but not aggression. Because when you create aggression, it's not just only you who is getting affected, it's they who are getting affected, because we are radiating that energy. And second is, they're also learning that this is the way to live life. So tomorrow when you don't do something their way, they will use aggression with you, and then they will also use aggression as a part of their life with their other interactions. So we are teaching them, we are not just disciplining them in what they have to do, but we're also teaching them how to be. So if they start learning that ठीक है, सामने वाला अगर कोई गलती भी करता है, this is the way to speak. There was a 7-year-old boy who comes to the center on and off. The first time he came to the center, and he came up on stage and he said, मुझे experience share करना है. I said, सुनाओ. He said, हमारी क्लास में ना एक बुली है, वो मुझे बहुत तंग करता था, वो मुझसे झगड़ा करता था. He used to hit me, fight with me. And पता है क्या हुआ? एक दिन मम्मा ने कहा, बस हो गया, तूने बहुत डांट खा लिया उससे, अब तो इस बार मार के आना उसको. He said, he just turned back, he looked at it, because he's a past life sanskar, of course, and he looked back at his mother and he said, मैं गुस्सा कभी नहीं करूंगा, I will change him with my words. He said this to his mother, I will change him with my words. And then he started talking to that friend, he being very caring towards him, being very compassionate. And within a few days, that child changed. And then that child's mother calls up this mother and she says, I don't know how to thank your son, but my child has changed. That's the impact of emotions of one on the emotions of other. So that is what we need to do with the children. Okay, gussa is not the method. That is what they will have to learn while they're growing up. Then they will also not use that method with other people. But that will need for us to energize our tolerance power a little bit.
जी.
So बस उसी के लिए करना है. So that is called a mental gym. थोड़ा सा यहाँ fitness level बढ़ा रहते हैं ना, तो muscle थोड़े strong हो जाते हैं.
जी. Sister, can we take 2-3 minutes more of your time? क्योंकि जी, thank you. You're leaving us with a lot of hope also. And I'm going to use my last 2 minutes to ask you a question. Let's talk about the divine parent. The divine parent. Leave us with that hope कि जिसका कोई नहीं होता, उसका भगवान होता है. Leave us with that hope, because no matter the kind of parenting, no matter the challenges, no matter the circumstances, but you can be different and you can shine through. So is that possible? And it is possible.
Yes. That is what is meditation. So what do we do? Meditation. Meditation means creating that personal relationship with that divine parent. And that divine parent is the ocean of love, the ocean of unconditional acceptance, the ocean of power. So starting meditation is you start building that connect. But then very soon that becomes your personal relationship always. So you may be surrounded with all kinds of negative energies, which means all kind of disturbed emotions. Maybe there's a disturbance in your house. Maybe you've gone through something in your childhood. But once you create that relationship, that is a relationship between I and जिसको हम हिंदी में कहते हैं परम पिता, पिता है, तुम मात पिता हो, हम बच्चे तेरे हैं. We've been saying this, but it's not just something to be said. It's an experience of a relationship between parent and a child. But then I have to remember that if that divine is my parent, then how would the child be? So then I'm a reflection of that parent. So automatically that relationship. So the divine is our supreme parent. The divine is our supreme teacher also. So usse shiksha bhi lena. And then the divine is our supreme Satguru. Blessings हमारे को इतने मिलते हैं. तो तीनों चीजें, तो परम पिता, परम शिक्षक, परम सदगुरु, तीनों चीजें जब उससे मिलती हैं, it doesn't matter what we've gone through in our life. And honestly, it just doesn't matter anything that I've gone through in my life and anything that's happening right now. It just makes you very powerful to be able to face everything.
Thank you.
Beautiful.
That's so hopeful.
Lovely.
We are concluding on a very, very hopeful divine note.
Yes.
जी मामी,
Om
आप
Shanti.
कुछ कहेंगे? जी.
Beautiful.
आप कुछ
Om
कहेंगे?
Shanti, and thank you so much, sister.
जी.
Om Shanti. Thank you so much. Thank you.
A lot of gratitude to you. A lot of gratitude to you for blessings and your words and for your time.
Thank you so much. Wonderful.
Thank
This needs to be heard again and again and again. But every parent, every family. Thank you, sister. You are a gem of this country.
Thank you so much.
Om Shanti. जय हरि. Thank you. जी, मिलेंगे आपको अगले महीने.
Thank you so much.